Hi, this is Simon from Mash.ie. Do you remember probably one of your earliest primary school memories was standing up in the classroom with all your classmates and your teacher firing questions at you, table questions at you, and if living in fear that if you got one wrong you would have to sit down, or worse if you're older like me, getting screamed at or shouted at if you didn't know your tables, or if you're even older than me, getting hit across the hand with a ruler for not knowing your tables. Well, thankfully all those days are over, because there is no need to learn your tables off by heart anymore, no matter what people say. There is ways of learning your tables without learning them off by heart anymore, and in this series of videos I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. And the first thing I will do is get rid of another universal truth. The first universal truth is that you have to learn your tables off by heart. No matter what you do, you must learn your tables off by heart. And absolutely not. But the other truth that people think is still, and despite it actually not being on the curriculum in Ireland since 1970, you only have to do the 0 to 10 multiplication tables. So if you see a multiplication table that looks something like this, going from 1 to 12, you can throw that away, because the only tables you need to learn are here, which are the 0 to 10 tables. And this is really important to know before you do anything. And I know there's a lot of books still out there that do up to the 12 times tables, and I know there's a lot of teachers that will teach the 12 times tables, and the reason is sure, because it's no harm. But you know, the thing is, we have to be teaching children for the world they're living in these days, and the reason there was a 12 times tables is because many of you might remember learning the 11 and 12 times tables when you were in school. What was the reason for that? Well, the reason was there used to be in old money 12 old pennies in a shilling. So if you had 6 shillings, you might have needed to know how many pennies that meant in your maths book, which obviously was 6 multiplied by 12 pennies, which would have been 72. I remember it because I was so scared not to know these things off by heart when I was in school. However, these days we don't use pennies, shillings and guineas and all that kind of stuff. So we live in an era of decimalisation, so 0 to 10 is all we need to do. So that is the first little lesson in learning your tables and not learning them off by heart. You only have that number of tables to do. Do you know how many tables, how many number facts children have to learn? 121. Count them there. 121. So loads of them there. So it's 11 multiplied by 11 tables. So we have our 11 this side and 11 down this side, 0 to 10 and 0 to 10. So that's 121 tables to learn. And I'm going to convince you, hopefully, that there is absolutely no need to learn any of these guys off by heart. There is a strategy to learn all of these, and in this first video, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scrub them in half. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to look at this post that I wrote quite a number of years ago, and you see all those ones that are covered in grey here? Yeah. And we're looking at the commutative property in multiplication. So if you can show your children a multiplication square, which is this is a multiplication square, so I'd have one in your classroom and put it up on your interactive whiteboard, or even have a paper-based one. And the first thing you're going to do is, by the way, kids, if you know that 4 multiplied by 5 is 20, well, by the way, 5 multiplied by 4 is also 20. So if you know 1, you just swap the numbers around. So you actually don't need to know half of these tables off by heart. So you can actually go like that. And you've already scrubbed off 60 of the tables that children generally think they have to learn off by heart. So first lesson is 121 tables at the start. Scrap half of them with teaching them the commutative property and give them loads of time practicing. Basically, if you know 6 by 3, then you know 3 by 6. If you know 0 by 5, then you know 5 multiplied by 0. Loads and loads of time. Lesson 2 is basically your 0 and 1 and 2 times tables. And I'm just going to finish with this video with the 0, 1 and 2 times tables. So that should make the video about 5 to 6 minutes long. They only need to know one simple rule for 0. If you multiply by 0, the answer is 0. And we all know that. And you can have lots of fun with the kids with that. You can ask them what is 2 multiplied by 0, 5 multiplied by 0, a million multiplied by 0, 6 billion bananas multiplied by 0. The answer is always 0. And you can then do, on the same lesson, multiplying by 1 gives you the same answer. 2 by 1, 2, 6 by 1, 6, 5 by 5 million by 1, 5 million, 5 bazillion William by 1 is the sound. I can't even remember what I said. So basically, those two tables are very easy. You multiply by 0, the answer is 0. You multiply 1, the answer is the same. Nothing new. So you don't actually have to learn any of those off by heart. And you've already knocked off this whole row of zeros and this whole row of ones. So you're actually making, again, you've knocked off about how many? 22, 21 extra tables there within one fell swoop. In 10 seconds they will know that. The final thing is children seem to love doubling, and I don't know why they love doubling, although maybe, I don't know, it's an innate thing on us, we like doubling. That's why I always teach 2 times tables after that. So after that I would teach the 2 times tables, which is doubling, and I play loads of games with dice when you can do that. So roll 2 dice and get the children to double the number lots and lots of times and get them to practice with each other, and they should have that really done and dusted within a minute or 2. So really your first lesson is 0, 1s and 2s, loads of consolidation if needs be through dice games, and I mean that's really it. It's lesson 1. You've already gotten rid of the whole first load of these rows and the whole load of these guys here. So you really have already knocked out over half of your tables in less than 10 minutes of teaching. How about that? That's not too bad, is it?